I have discovered that one of your interests, I don't know if you want to call it a hobby or an interest, you are trying to figure out who actually wrote Shakespeare's plays, and you have now decided that you know who it is?
Yes, it's Dolores Gibbons, pardon me, who's a housewife from Detroit, and she's actually 750 years old, but doesn't look a day over 135.
So she was around during
Yeah,
the...
she was around during that time, and in fact, what led me on to being suspicious about her was she, back many years ago, she had an older dog named Spot.
Uh-huh.
And she would want to send him out to do his business, and he was very stubborn, so he didn't want to go out. So she would come up to him and out, damn Spot. So that light bulb went off in my head.
Ah, fascinating. I bet a whole lot of amateur Shakespeare sleuths never thought of that.
Well,
But
that's why you pay me the big bucks, boss.
well, big in contrast with some fourth world economies.
Right, right.
It's okay. And speaking of reading, one of the great writers, and you heard it from Jack, he thinks he knows who Shakespeare really was, and I understand you are also looking at that subject.
I am indeed. Well, first I looked at Francis Bacon, like many others.
Yeah, that's where
But
people start.
He
Yep.
was a bit, that kind of led me to Pope Milton.
Well, wait a
II.
minute. Wait a minute now. Francis Bacon, he was a guy who struggled with being a vegetarian.
Yes, he was very much on the fence about being a vegetarian because obviously they got the family name somewhere. So,
So that led to that famous line about to beef or not to beef.
yes, to beef or not to beef, exactly. See?
Well, golly, so that's a different theory. I can see why that would resonate. I don't remember that much about Milton of Salisbury, though. I think that's what he was called pre-Pope, but he was a plumber, right?
Oh, you could say, in a sense, yes.
And he discovered some of the continents that, no.
Well, he was a bit incontinent himself. He just kind of he followed some others.
But he was an inventor, if I remember.
He was indeed. He was sort of a master of upgrades, what we might call the version 2.0 of everything. Now, he was the inventor of the round wheel because the flat wheels were really not getting anybody nowhere.
Right.
He also invented the leather couch because before that time, all couches were made of scrambled eggs, and that was not really working. That was not sustainable for a typical family.
You aren't also investigating Shakespeare's real identity, are you?
As a matter of fact, you know, when I think about it, back at the time when you had that Globe Theatre in its heyday, they had something called the Technology, Entertainment, and Design Gaffers Union, what we would today call the TED Crews. I have my suspicions.
I'll be dadgum. But I thought the TED Crews, if I remember my history, they were sort of a secret society, but they also went around pillaging much of the known world at one time. They were wreaking havoc.
The Rosy Crustaceans or Russian Khrushchevs, I forget the society.
So when Shakespeare said, cry havoc, let slip the dogs of war, did I remember correctly that in some history books the Rosicrucians are also called the dogs of war?
Yes, the puppies of perturbedness, yes, similar.
I see. And so now these people aren't still around today, are they?
Well, I mean,
The TED Crews.
yes, the TED Crews and the Hawthorns and the Cawthorns and various people throwing themselves across the TSA line.
They weren't also at the January 6th Capitol meeting. I think that's what it's called.
Yes, the party in D.C., yes, from a year and a half ago.
I see. Well, they are part of a wrecking crew with a long, long history.